Hello guys, good morning and welcome to Exampur. And as you know, today we are going to discuss a topic that been extracted from the Down to Earth magazine, and this magazine is very important magazine for us, for especially the civil services aspirants. And today's topic is related to the tribal groups of India and especially the health issue of a tribal group or the tribal of India. Okay, so today's topic is basically dedicated to the health issues that is related to the tribal group of India. And the context of the topic is the relative geographical isolation and the lack of modern healthcare facilities and multiple other factors have taken a toll on tribal health profile, making it one of the worst social groups in the term of the health indicator. Okay, so basically today's topic is completely dedicated or on the health issues, but we will discuss some other aspect which is the related to tribal groups, and in the constitution what is the status of the tribals, what is the status of the tribes in the India according to the constitution, what is their social problems, what is their economical problem, what is their environmental problem, why they are facing why they are facing health issues rapidly or frequently they are facing the different health issues. So today this is very important topic. Tribes is very important topic because the one Yojana magazine has published tribes in 1 month. Okay, so in 1 month magazine of Yojana magazine is publicly focused on tribe group. So this is important for us. And tribe is a community of India. Tribe is a community which is not in the mainframe of the nation, and they are aligned in the nation from mainframe. So the government and the other institution which is working on the human welfare, they are trying to drag this tribe groups into the mainstream of the nation, and so they are working on it. Government is also working on it, and other institution which is related to the tribals group, they are also working on this task. So we should know about these tribes, we should know about their social condition, we should know about their economical condition, we should know about their constitutional status. Okay, so today we are going to discuss these things which is related to the tribes. Okay, so what is the category of tribe and what is the scheduled tribe? What is the tribes and the scheduled tribes? What is their status according to the constitution? What is their legal status? We should know here. Okay, so the category of the tribes entails the social and the cultural dimensions, but the scheduled tribe categorized as political administrative implication. So tribes means tribes, and what is the difference between the tribes and the social scheduled tribe? Tribes means the people who are the people whose living standard is almost nomadic. They are completely dependent on the primary sources or the primary activities. So, and if they are living in the you can say in the forest region or the remote areas which is not well connected to our main parts or the main economy, or you can say the main market, so they are considered as the tribes. They are considered as the tribe, and the main feature of the tribes, they are follow their customs, their rituals. They strongly follow their customs and their rituals. They are not willing, they don't have any will to connect or to modernize themselves. Okay, so they have the strong you can say they have a strong will to follow their customs and the rituals. Okay, so if the persons or if the people who are living in the remote areas and they are strongly followed their customs and rituals, and they are not willing to change in their traditional things, then they are considered as the tribes. But What is the scheduled tribes? Scheduled tribes are the name or the tribes which are scheduled under the legal activities or the legal things. So if government of India has a schedule or the list in which they are mentioned, if they are mentioned, that is they treated as the scheduled tribe. So scheduled tribes is basically the scheduled tribe is the category for basically political and administrative implications. Okay, so many tribes are living in the India. Almost you can say that 3,000, more than 3,000 tribes are living in the India, but not all tribes are considered as the scheduled tribe. The tribes which are listed by the government of India, which is listed by the government of India under the legal circumstances, then they are treated as the scheduled tribe. Otherwise, they are considered as a tribe but not as the scheduled tribe. So, scheduled tribes and the tribes are the social and the cultural implications. Tribes means on the basis of the social and the cultural activity, you can segregate as a tribes. But on the legal, on the administrative and the political way or the political side, you can categorize as the scheduled tribe. Okay, so I think you are clear in the differences between the tribes and the scheduled tribes and the tribes. A majority of the scheduled tribes population is concentrated in the eastern and the central and western belt covering the 9 states of the 9 states. Mostly the in the India, the most of the tribes are living in the 9 to 10 districts. 9 to 10 states. Okay, so they are terms as the tribal belt or the tribe belts. Okay, so the name of the state is the basically Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal. These are the tribes which have these are the state which has the maximum concentration of the tribal groups or the tribes. Okay, so these 9 to 10 states has the maximum concentration. About the 12% inhabited in the northeastern region, about 5% in the southern region, and about 3% in the northern region. So these states has the maximum concentration of the tribe, and the 12% of the Indian tribes are living in the northeastern part, and some 5% living in the South India, and the 3% living in the North India. Okay, so this is the distribution of the tribe in the India. So major state which has the maximum population of the tribes are these state. Okay, and these state are collectively known as the tribal belt. These state is collectively known as the tribal belt. Okay, so if you look this map, according to 2011 census, the percentage of the tribal groups or the percentage is mentioned in this region. So 5 point and below, or the percentage of the scheduled tribe population of the total population. So percentage, the area covered with the green area has the maximum percentage or the maximum ratio of the tribal with the other population of that particular region. So 40%, 40.1 and above percentage in the green area. So this area has the maximum tribal percentage in the nation, and after that this area has the maximum population or the maximum percentage. After this is on the second position. So you can clear it through this map that this region has the maximum tribal population concentration in the nation. And these two areas, Punjab and Haryana, which has no any tribe population, which has the basically percentage, according to percentage, there is a negligible tribal population is living in this region, and that is why this is indicated as the white, so nil population. This data is according to the this data is extracted from the your 2011 census. So this is your percentage. Okay, so if you are preparing for the civil services examination, if you are doing if you are aspirant for the civil services examination, and if you are doing well at your end, but if you want some guidance, some extra thing which are providing by the example, then you can download this application, and this application is the example's official application, and you will get the many things which will help you in your preparation. So I suggest you that you download this example application, and you will get the many things in the free of cost on this platform also. So mostly application is paid. Basically the maximum institution provide the paid courses on the application, but example provides you the paid as well as the free courses on the application. Okay, so this is a big initiative by the example. So you can download the example application from your Google Play Store. You can go on the Play Store, search the example official, search example, and the name of the example app is the example Sarkari Naukri Prep. Okay, so you can download this example and register yourself in this application, and you will get many benefits from this platform. Okay, so I hope this is very essential. This is very useful for the aspirant at the contemporary time period. So I suggest you that you will download this application. Okay. So distribution of the tribal population by the states. The maximum tribal population is in Madhya Pradesh. 14.7% of the tribes, India's total tribes, the contribution of the Madhya Pradesh has the 14.7% contribution in the India's total scheduled tribal population. So Madhya Pradesh, on the second position there is a Maharashtra, third Odisha, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh. So this is the distribution of the tribal population in the different states, in which the Madhya Pradesh has maximum tribal population. So this data will help you to formulate the policies to build your basic understanding. Okay, so we discussed today what is the tribe and what is the scheduled tribe. What is the differences? Tribe is the social and the cultural aspects. Tribe, you can find out recognize the tribes on the criteria of the social and the cultural basis, and at the administrative and the legal basis you can find out the scheduled tribe. Scheduled tribes are the tribes which are mentioned or the enlisted by the government of India. If the government of the India enlisted any tribe as a scheduled tribe, then it is considered as the scheduled tribe. Otherwise, it is considered as the tribes. Okay, and the tribes is defined on the basis of their custom, their culture, their social status. Okay, so what our constitution say about tribes? So scheduled area in the 5th schedule of Indian Constitution has mentioned. So if you study if you study the schedule of India, there are 12 schedule, in which the schedule number 5 and the schedule 6 are completely dedicated to tribe and the tribal areas. Okay, so schedule 5, schedule areas under the 5th schedule of the Constitution is such areas as the President may by order declare to be scheduled area. So what is the scheduled area? Scheduled area is declared by the President by an order. That area is deemed as the scheduled area. At present, 10 states, namely Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Rajasthan, Telangana have 5th schedule area. So in 5th schedule, there are 10 states has mentioned, and the 10 state has the schedule area according to the schedule 5 of the Indian Constitution. So what is the schedule area? Schedule area is defined and declared by an order by the President of India, and currently there are 10 states which has the scheduled area according to the schedule 5 of Indian Constitution. The 6th schedule is also related to the scheduled population or the tribes. So what is the schedule number 6? It protects the tribal population and provides autonomy to the communities through the creation of autonomous development council that can frame laws on land, public health, agriculture and the others. So it provides some rights, autonomy. that the scheduled area can develop their autonomous region. Scheduled area can be defined as the autonomous region, and they have some autonomy according to their rituals, their custom, because they are different from other nation, from other region. If they are different from other region, then there is a different law requires at that particular area. So if there are a requirement of the different law, so there should be some authority, to formulate such type law. So there are provision in our constitution that this area or the tribal group has some autonomy, on the using of that autonomy they can form some laws related to the health and other issues. Okay, so 6th schedule applies to certain tribal areas of the state of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and the Mizoram, because there are different ethnic groups are living in this northeastern part. Mostly they are Mongolite communities, and their rituals, their something are different from the other region of the nation. So if the ethnicity is the different in this region, if their rituals, their culture are different in this region, then they require some different laws. If you form a uniform law for the entire nation, for the whole nation, it could not be implemented on every end, on the every level, because India is a diverse nation. There are a diversity in the ethnicity, in the community level. So you require some flexibility in the universal laws or the uniform laws. So you should give some autonomy at that particular region's people, because they are the people which does not have the more awareness, which does not has the connectivity to the other areas, which does not has the openness in their mind. They are completely, you can say, they are introvert. Introvert. If they are introvert, then you cannot easily impose the laws on that particular community. So you should give some autonomous on that to that particular community. Okay, and that is why such provisions has been laid in our constitution. So schedule number 5 and schedule number 6. The 6th schedule provides for the creation of autonomous district and the regional council, and I think you studied this in the polity section very well. And if you are not studied these things, and so go through the M. Lakshmikant chapter number schedule 6 or autonomous region in the tribal areas. Okay, as of now, 10 autonomous council exist in the Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and the Mizoram. This special provision is provided under Article 244(2) and the Article 275(1) of the Constitution. So these are the two important articles which is related to the tribal communities, which is related to the tribal autonomous districts. So this autonomous districts has been provided, has been enlawed under this articles of the Constitution 275(1) and 244(2). Okay, so this is our constitutional status related to the tribal people and their autonomy, their freedom, their laws. So now we should find out which are the problems of tribal group, what problem they are facing at the present time. So for the finding out the problems of the tribal groups, a survey was done by the B.K. Roy Burman in 1972. So one survey that was held by the Mr. B.K. Roy Burman in 1972, and they find out some basic and the common problem of tribal group and provide this data to the government of India. And this data is very useful in the formulation of the policy related to the tribal people. So because if you don't know about the major problem, if you don't know about the main problem of any community, then how can you expect that you will find out some conclusion, you will find out some solution on that problem. So firstly you should find out some problems. So to extract the problem, this survey was done by Mr. B.K. Roy Burman in 1972, and that shows the tribals are most backward because of their low literacy and the primitive economy, because they are completely dependent on the primitive economy. They are you can understand the primitive economy is basically dependent on the primary group. Traditional economy, primary, there is no any industrial area, there is no any production, surplus production. They are dependent, they are subsistence, they are doing their economy as the subsistence economy. Okay, they are not converting themselves as a commercial economy, and there is some constraints. They are not willing to, it does not mean they are not want to create, they are not want to develop their economy, they are not want to develop themselves, but some constants are there. And if you find out as a government, if you find out some that constant, and you will remove that constant, then they will develop themselves. They are able to develop themselves. So the major problem is the low literacy rate, because they don't have the awareness. The tribal groups don't have the awareness, and their economy is the completely primitive economy. If the economy is a primitive economy, then you cannot expect that they will develop in the rapid pace. Okay, so this is the major. And some other problem, problem of this tribal people, the one is the poverty and the exploitation. Poverty and the exploitation. If the person is completely dependent on the primitive economy, that means they are doing the subsistence work. They don't have the surplus production. If you don't have the surplus production, if you produces the things in that amount which you require to consume, so you cannot imagine that if you will, you cannot imagine to benefit, you cannot imagine to create the profit, because whatever you are producing, that amount is the requirement, your requirement. Then the production is equal to consumption. If the production will equal to consumption, then will be no surplus production. Production is equal to consumption. If the production is equal to consumption, then there is no surplus. If there is no surplus, then there is no trade or market, or there is no commerce. So poverty will trap the community. Okay. So in the drawback of the primitive economy is completely, the most of the time production is equal to consumption. Production is equal to consumption. In the tribal groups, production is equal to consumption, and they are completely dependent on the primary sources or the primary sector. And this primary sector is basically dependent upon the nature, is completely dependent on the nature. So if it completely depend on the nature, then if the nature will adverse, then the production will reduce. If the nature will favor, then production will increase. So this is the problem. So poverty is a major problem in the tribal areas, and some exploitation. Because they don't have the literacy, they don't have the awareness. If the people or the person don't has the awareness, some smart people or some people will arrive that areas, and they started to exploit their resources. If the the outsiders started to exploit their resources in the tribal areas, then it also has impact on the tribal, and they also these factors has also maintain their poverty. Okay, so economic and technological backwardness, they don't have the modern economic techniques, they don't have the modern technology, they are doing the things in the traditional way. They are using the apparatus as they are used in the 50 years ago. They don't have the awareness related to the modern technology, modern equipments. So if you are not using the modern equipments, if you are not related, if you does not connect yourself from the modern technology, then it will not help you to drag out your the community from the poverty trap. So if you are entrapped with the poverty, then the different associated issues related to the poverty will affect that particular community. So economic and the technological backwardness is a major issue or the major problem of the tribal group. Second, socio-cultural handicaps. Socio-cultural handicaps means here the some social customs or the social rules or the social norms and the cultural norms trapped their community. As you can understand that in the earlier time period, in the British time period, or the before the 200 or the 100 years ago, to move overseas was the evil in the India. Okay, not a bad thing, not a good thing to move overseas. Overseas movement was banned in the India. Many communities or the many group of the nation or the India was believe in this custom or the in the norms of the social norms, that the overseas movement is a not a good thing, it is a evil. Okay, so such type custom is also here, and this custom or the this social norm handicaps this community. So problems of assimilation with the non-tribal population, they also have the population to assimilate into the assimilation to the non-tribal population. If you go any tribal region, the people of that tribes does not easily mingle up with you, because they have the fear. They does not want to erase their custom. They have the fear to erase their custom. They thought that if they mingle up with the other population or the other areas people, then they will erased from their population, their custom, their rituals. So they don't want to mingle up. They don't want to assimilate with other peoples. In Andaman and Nicobar region, there is a community that is called the Jarwa community. Some people, the Jarwa community is basically belong from the Negroid community or the Negroid group, Negroid. Okay, so they belongs from the Negroid, and the people of the India or the outsider, if going there at that region, and the population of that Jarwa community started to decrease, because there is a difference in the culture, there is a difference in the custom, there is a difference in the social norms. Jarwa community are living nudely at the present time, and that means in the 21st century they are living nude. And the people the people who are going from the outside at this region, they treated as they are aliens, they are not on this planet. So if you treat them as aliens, if you are react, or if you don't consider him as a human being or like you, then how can you imagine that they easily assimilate with you? The person from outside, and they has the ritual, they don't have any awareness. But person which are outsider, the responsibility and the accountability of this person is to start to assimilate that population with the non-tribal population. But there is a difference, there is a problem. So they have the problems in the assimilation with non-tribal people. They have a problem in assimilation with the non-tribal people. Okay, so these are the some problem of the tribal group. Mr. S.M. Dubey has provided the 5-fold classification of the Indian tribes, provides a clear picture of the problem of the tribes in the India. Okay, in 1982, Mr. Dubey mentions there is a 5-fold problem of the tribals in India. Okay, aboriginal living in the seclusion. The first is the aboriginal living in the seclusion. Tribal groups having an association with the neighboring non-tribal society and also maintaining their distinctiveness. Tribal living in the village along with the caste group, sects and the religious group, and the maintaining their identity. Tribal who have been degraded to the status of the untouchables. The tribals who enjoy their high social, economic and the political status. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is the 5-fold classification of the tribal communities problem. So these are the 5 problems that was mentioned by the S.M. Dubey in 1982. Okay, you can you can use this data. You can use this data in tribal problems. You can use this. You can quote the name of the this five-fold classification in tribal problems. Okay, so this is very important thing for you. And the other problems of the tribals, this is the social problem. That was the normal problem, social problem. What are the social problem of the tribal groups? First is the high incidence of the literacy rate and the gender gap. High literacy rate, illiteracy rate is high in the tribal region. You can see in 2011, 73% of total tribes are illiterate. Scheduled tribes population 59%. Total female population 64.60%. Total scheduled tribes female population is 49.40%. So literacy rate and the gender gap is a major problem of tribal group in the India, and this is this problem or this gap, gender gap and literacy rate problem, low literacy rate has created the social problem in this, because if you are not literate, then your awareness, you are not aware in the your rights, your other things. Okay, so first is the social problem. First social problem is the high literacy rate and the gender gap. Second is the mortality rate is high because there is a health issues. There is no health facilities are in the tribal region, and that is why there is a mortality rate is high. If the mortality rate is high, then poverty or if death rate and mortality rate will be high, then it will affect the entire economy, entire the social structure. Okay, so social problem in the social problem there is a major problem, that is the mortality rate. And this mortality rate, if the mortality rate of any region is high, that means it is the indication of the bad health issue. This is the indication of the bad health facilities. Okay, if the bad health facilities are in this region, then how can you expect to develop in this region? How can you expect that this region will connect to other areas? So mortality rate is high is the indication of the bad health issue, bad health facilities, and bad health facilities are indication to the lackness of the economical development. So there is a economic development, lackness of the economic development. So social issues or the social problems is also associated with the economic problem. If the economical development will happen or will occur, then automatically the social problems will be removed from that particular region. So social problems or the social development are basically related to the economical development. Okay, so gender issues, problem of assimilation with the non-tribal people, erosion of the identity. Okay, the tribal people has a unique and exclusive identity. Tribal peoples has exclusive identity, and they has fear to remove or they to abolish that identity. So they always want to maintain their identity, and for their identity they for the saving of their identity they will do anything. Okay, so tribal people do anything for saving their identity, but if the modernization will happen or the modernization will take place, then their identity will be eroded. They have the fear to erosion of the identity. So this is a problem of tribal people. So erosion of the identity. Drug addiction, there is a drug addiction is also in the tribal areas, like the liquor, like the other drugs which is found in this region. Liquor, you can wine consumption, traditionally formed wine consumption in this region. So in the tribal areas, drug addiction is also a major problem in tribal areas. So these are the some social problem in the tribes of India. Okay, what is the economic problem they are facing? The economic problem they are facing, loss of control over the natural resources. In the early time period or the earlier tribals has the entire right over their resources on the forest region. But when the Britishers came into India, the Britishers started to control over the forest region. They started to control over the resources found in the forest region. Before the Britishers, the all rights was vested in the tribal areas, but after the Britishers, when the Britishers came into India, the Britishers started to formulate the law related to tribal areas, and they started to exploit, they started to control over the natural resource. So if they lost their control over the natural resource, this natural resource was the primary source for the economy, and they lost their economy resources, and this economy resources started to hamper their economic condition, and this act, or the loss on the control of resources, started to make them poor, and they entrapped into the poverty. So in the economic problem, one problem is the loss of control over the natural resource. Poverty and the exploitation is the another problem. Land alienation is a major problem. Land alienation means their land was covered, or their land was encroached by the other outsiders, or the outsiders by the anytime some government started some project in this area, then the government start to encroach their land. So land alienation is also problem. They forced to move from their land part to another region. In the British time period, in the present time also, this activity is going on. So land alienation is a major problem. Displacement and rehabilitation. If you are acquiring their land area, then you should rehabilitate them from another region. So rehabilitation is also a problem. Displacement is also a problem, because if any community which is completely associated with their native region, they know everything about this particular region, and you are authority who displace this community from this region, and you rehabilitate them in this particular region. So this region is not favorable for them. They have all resources, they have all economical resources, they have all social norm in this particular region, but it is not easy to develop all the things in this new region. So there is a problem, economic problem. If you remove that community from this region, their economic resources, then how they develop in the different new areas as in the previous region. Okay, so this is the problem. Displacement and the rehabilitation. Lack of awareness about the government scheme. They don't have the awareness, they don't have the literacy, they don't have the knowledge related to the government scheme. Government are providing them many benefits through their different schemes, but they don't have knowledge, they don't have the idea about this scheme. So there is a chances through corruption. Okay, there is a chances to corruption. If you are not aware about your right, if you are not aware about your right, then there is might be chances that the person which are in mid of the government and you, they start to corrupt. They are started to corruption in the service provision. Okay, if the person provided you services, if you don't have awareness related to this service, then there is a chance to corruption. Okay, so lack of awareness about the government scheme. Subsistence economy. In the earlier discussion, we have discussed the subsistence economy. That means the economy in which the production is in that amount, which amount is a requirement, which amount is essential to survive. If the consumption and the production is in equal amount, then there is a no surplus production. If there is a no surplus production, there is a no any commercial activity will be take place, or that there will be absence of the trade. So in which condition trade is in existence? When the surplus production will happen. Okay, surplus production is required for the trade. Okay, So unemployment is a major issue. The person living in the in this area, they don't have employment. And the health and the nutrition issue. Health and the nutrition issue, it is a major problem. So this is the economic problem related to the tribal areas. Environmental problem also is there. Man-animal conflict. Okay, man-animal conflict is an environmental issue. So in this article, we should completely dedicated or the we should completely focus on the health issues. Okay, so in the earlier discussion we have discussed the issue related to the tribal areas, and there are many issues which are related to social issues, economical issues, environmental issues. But in this article, they completely focus on the health issues. What are the health issues of the tribal areas? How they are, how the government is started to tackle these issues? Why these health issues is in these areas? What are the cause for these health issues? So what is the health issues among the tribals? It is our topic, today's major topic. So tribes of India. Okay, tribes of India accounts 8.6% of the total population. So there are 8.6% of tribal, 8.6% is the tribal people in the India. टोटल पॉपुलेशन में 8.6% जो है वो ट्राइबल पॉपुलेशन है. द ट्राइबल पॉपुलेशन ऑफ द कंट्री मेजरली रिजाइड इन द ज्योग्राफिकल आइसोलेटेड हिली एंड द फॉरेस्ट एरिया. Okay, so they are majorly resided in the hilly and the isolated hilly and the forest area. In the tribal people, at the same time, tribal habitation are the dispersed over the large area, resulting in the low density of the population. Okay, so tribal peoples are living not a concentrated way. They are living in the spread way, or they are spreading in the different areas. That is why the population density is not so much high, not high in this population in this region. Okay, fertility rate. Second thing is the fertility rate. The total fertility rate of the scheduled tribe is 3.2%. Okay, it is the 3.2%, and which is required 2% total fertility rate is essential, and it is sufficient, not essential, which is the well above the replacement rate. However, few exceptions are seen in the form of the negative population growth rate, which has been seen in the particularly vulnerable tribes inhabiting Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The most of the tribes has total fertility rate in high manner. Okay, they has the highly total fertility rate, but in some areas the total fertility rate or the population growth is in negative manner. In like the Jarwa community has the has the population at the present population of the Jarwa community is 300 to 400 people are living, and the Supreme Court has instructed or directed to government to protect this community from extinction, because 300 to 400 or the 500 peoples are living in this living at the present time. If the population will not increase, if the population will not grow, then they will be extinct. The Jarwa community will be extinct. So on the concern of this extinction, the Supreme Court directed to the government to protect this community from outsider. Due to the impact or due to the on the contact of the outsider, this community has impacted. Okay, so fertility rate in general way, the fertility rate is high, but in some areas this fertility rate is low, very low, and that is caused for the negative population growth at that particular region. You can take the example of the Jarwa community. Okay, so life expectancy is defined as the average number of years a person is expected to live. The life expectancy of the scheduled tribes has generally been lowest among the all social group in the country. According to the Union Ministry of the Tribal, the compare expectancy of the 67 years. For the rest of India, the tribal population has the 63.9 years. At the present time, the life expectancy rate of India, normally the life expectancy rate is the 67 years. That means average person is living 67 years in the India. And the low life expectancy rate is the indication of the socially and economically backwardness. Okay, and in the tribal areas, the life in the tribal areas life expectancy rate is only 63.9%, 63.9 years. So it is less than the 67 years. So in general condition, the life expectancy rate is 67 years, but in tribal areas, the life expectancy rate is 63.9 years. Okay, so what are the reason for the lesser expectancy? Some experts attribute this genetic disease like the sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, okay, which are prevalent among the tribal population, and it is to be noted that the life expectancy of the tribal women is more than tribal men. Okay, there are some genetic disease like the sickle cell anemia and the thalassemia which are cause for the death of the tribal peoples, and that is why the life expectancy rate is basically low than the normal people of India. And in this community, the tribal women has more life expectancy than the tribal men, because some disease are basically affect the male community or the male person, and that is why the tribal men has the less life expectancy than the tribal women. So some modern diseases also has impacted these tribal areas. Okay, so due to the land alienation, displacement, prevalence of the poverty and the resultant indebtedness, tribal women are forced into the prostitution. Sometimes they are forced into the prostitution, and that prostitution is caused for the social evils. This is the social evil, and this is the social problem of that reason. This has led to an increasing caseload of sexually transmitted disease, including AIDS. And if they forced into the prostitution, then this prostitution or this activity will cause for the sexually transmitted disease. Okay, STDs. STDs are very dangerous disease like the AIDS. Okay, in the AIDS you studied in the science that the immunity of the person is started to degrade. Okay, so if the immunity degrade, the other disease will impact easily. Non-communicable disease like the hypertension. 1 out of every 4 tribal adults suffers from the hypertension. Okay, in general language, you know, blood pressure problem, hypertension. As per the experts, the cases of the hypertension have increased significantly with the increasing consumption of the tobacco. If you consume the tobacco, alcohol, and the prevalence of the sedentary lifestyle among the tribal people, and this is cause for the hypertension. Okay, so hypertension is a major problem in this region. Non-communicable disease also affect the tribal areas, and some genetic disease also affect the tribal areas. So this is the some major problem, some major issues related to the tribal people. Okay, which is especially related to the associated with the health of this community. Okay, so this is our drug addiction. Okay, so in today's class we will discuss we have discussed something related to the health issue, and the remaining section of this health issue and what will be the way forward, what will be the conclusion we will cover into the next session. Tomorrow at the 8 a.m. you will join this application, this YouTube channel for the remaining section. Okay, so I hope you will enjoy, and how you feel in this session you can comment on the comment box. If you are getting benefits from this channel, then please appreciate this channel and subscribe this channel, and share this name of this channel to your friends, your relatives. Okay, so we will meet in the next session. Please subscribe this channel and share this video. Thank you so much.